This is my favorite recipe of how to make homemade ice cream. After hearing my speech, you should have a good understanding about what's required and what's needed to be able to make the best homemade ice cream. Have you ever just craved a big bowl of ice cream after dinner? All across America, ice cream parlors are packed full of people who will pay $6 or $7 for just a cup of ice cream. Did you know that you can make some of the best homemade ice cream ever right in your own kitchen with very little expense or effort? According to Emma Christenstein, with just a few ingredients and utensils and an ice cream maker, you can take a simple recipe and make the best ice cream you've ever tasted. To make homemade ice cream, you would need to purchase the ingredients, gather the utensils, and get an ice cream maker. Then you need to follow the recipe to prepare the mix. And then, finally, you'll need to get the mix ready to put into the ice cream freezer to freeze. To begin, we need to gather the required items, and you need to realize that some of these items may already be in your kitchen. Others you may have to purchase from the store. First, we're going to need to get 4 eggs to get the egg yolks out only, vanilla, sugar, whole milk, and cream. Next, we're going to need to get a wooden spoon, a spatula, a strainer, measuring spoons, measuring cup, mixing bowl, and a saucepan. Then last, we need to have the ice cream freezer ready to use to make the ice cream. But whatever ice cream freezer you pick, make sure you pre-freeze the container before you put the mix in. Now that we have everything that we need, we can talk about mixing these ingredients. First, you want to measure all the ingredients out, like I have done here. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2/3 cup of sugar, 1½ cups of whole milk, 1½ cups of cream, and 4 eggs for the egg yolks. Then we're going to take our eggs and we're going to break them in the mixing bowl and get the egg yolks only out. We'll do that for 4 eggs. And then we'll stir those eggs up until they're smooth and creamy. Next, we're going to take our cream, milk, sugar, and vanilla and add it to our saucepan. Put the saucepan on the stove on low heat, stirring constantly just until it's warm only, and then immediately turn the heat off. Next, we're going to take our measuring cup and dip out about 1 cup of cream, and we're going to add that to our egg mixture very slowly, stirring slowly but continuously, not to add any air bubbles. Once we've done that, we're going to take our egg mixture and add it to the saucepan full of cream, stirring constantly. Then last, we're going to stir constantly for about 5 minutes until the mixture gets thickened. Now we can get ready to start the process of putting the mix into the freezer to freeze it. The first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that the mix is exactly right, and we'll know that by when we're stirring the mix, it will coat our spoon. And then we can take our finger across the back of the spoon and it'll leave a track. Immediately, as soon as it's thick enough for that, we want to make sure that we take our mix in the saucepan and take our strainer, and we're going to pour our mix through the strainer and use our spatula to clean the bowl out. This will allow the strainer to get out any curdling. The next step is we're going to take our mix and put it in the refrigerator to chill. We want to make sure that our mixture is very cool before we put it into the ice cream maker. You're all done now. All we have left to do is freeze the mix to make the ice cream. And we've done that here. We've made a delicious bowl of ice cream. So let's go over what we've learned. We've learned how to make delicious homemade ice cream. You begin by gathering all the ingredients you need, then getting all your utensils we need, and lastly, preparing the mix to go in the ice cream maker to freeze. So, now that you've done this, you will have a very enjoyable and satisfying activity that you can share with your friends and family to enjoy a great dessert. Thanks a lot.